So thank you everybody for being here. This is the info session for the First Year Abroad Morocco program that'll be taking place this summer. And we'll start off doing some introductions on our end, and then we'll have students in the room introduce yourselves. My name is Scott Ozorowski. I'm the Associate Director here in the Study Abroad office. I work on all of the First Year Abroad programs, working on logistics and planning and coordinating the student applications and kind of a lot of behind the scenes. And then your program is going to be led by two folks, one of whom is here today. So I'll let Barbara introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Barbara Schaffer. Thank you. Can't turn on my mic. Okay. Thank you for showing up at on this horrible weather day, because this is a very fun program. I have been a study abroad professor for quite a few years. I don't like to mention how many, but I've taken a group of students to Morocco for 6 years. And this is always a very, very interesting trip. I teach creative nonfiction, travel literature. And so this course will focus on travel literature. I also, right now, I'm teaching a course on Frankenstein. And Frankenstein film adaptations, which fit into the category of creative nonfiction. I'm very excited to take to take this trip and have this course. I think Morocco and especially Rabat is one of my favorite sites to visit. And I've also taken a group of students to many places, but I took a group of students to Ireland for quite a few years. And I've also taken students to Vietnam and Scotland. So that's my introduction. Of course, if you have any questions about me, feel free to ask them.
Excellent. The second co-leader of the program couldn't be here today. It's Jean-Mario Bissana from Global Engagement. So the two of them will be the two people leading the group abroad, kind of mid to late June, and then teaching the class during spring quarter. So, about the course. So, the way that this works, this is a first year abroad program, which means it is intended for first year students. You get credit for your focal point seminar, which is LSP 112. That's a course that most first year students you have to take in either your winter quarter or your spring quarter. And the class, and this was a change as of today, it's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays from 4:20 to 5:50. Before it was tentatively going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, but it's moved to Monday, Wednesdays. So as you're putting together your spring quarter schedule, just make sure that you have that time free Mondays and Wednesdays, 4:20 to 5:50. And then if you are in a major that does not require LSP 112, that is fine. You can still take this program. The credits will give you credit for your experiential learning requirement, or it will give you credit just towards open electives. Or if you happen to be taking a focal point seminar already this winter, again, you can still do this in spring and you'll get experiential learning credit or use it towards other elective credits. If you're an honors student, you actually get credit for Honors 101, which is your world literature and experience requirement, and you do get your experiential learning requirement. So great for honors students. And then there is an additional 2 credits that you'll get registered for in spring quarter. That is not anything you have to meet for. Basically, that is the credit for your time abroad in June. So you'll meet Mondays and Wednesdays, 4:20 to 5:50, and then you have the time abroad in June. And there will be some assignments along with that, some reflection journaling and a final project or paper that you'll turn in after you come back from that in June. And that's what those additional 2 credits for. But you'll want to make sure to leave some room in your spring schedule for those 6 credits. Either leave space when you go to register, or you can register in other classes to kind of have as a backup. And then if you get accepted to the program and decide you want to move forward, you can just drop those classes and then we'll put you in these classes. But our office registers you in the courses. You can't do that yourself. And we do that after you've been accepted and after you've decided that you do want to move forward. So that's
I
kind of how
also
that
like
works.
Scott. Scott, are you
Yeah.
going to talk about the scholarship pot?
Oh, yes. I'll get to that a little bit later. But
Okay.
so, Barbara,
Thank
if you want to just talk a little bit about the course and then we'll move on to the structure of the program abroad.
Okay, can we have the next slide so I can show Morocco?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the course a little bit or you already feel like?
Oh, about the course. I'm sorry. So this description pretty much talks about it. I mean, it is a travel literature course. So we will be reading the literature of people who travel, like Ibn Battuta, to Morocco and their reflections on the relationship between sort of place, because that's what travel literature is. It's the literature of place, culture, and identity. Okay, so we get a little history in the course. We'll obviously read some things in the course. We're reading two books, one called The Caliph's House, about someone who had lived in London who decides to go to Morocco and take his family and live there and learn the customs. And then we'll be reading Dreams of Trespass, which is a story about women in Morocco. So we have a lot of the, and we'll be reading some student work from other students. We also have, because one of the assignments will be to write your own travel piece. And students love this aspect, and I think you will find it fun because it combines sort of the creative element with the knowledge element and the experiential piece of it, which is why, for example, if I noticed that some people who are interested in the course are actually second year students, the experiential learning piece is so important. So you will be writing on your experiences. You will also keep a journal and practice and for Dimitro, I think it's easier because of what I heard. I think it's fun if you're a film student as well, but everybody can learn something from this. And so here is our itinerary. We fly from Chicago to Casablanca. We start because we are also doing a piece, and the emergence sort of this class after you all are freshmen, so weren't here for sort of the clash between about the state of Israel. And so I decided to put in a piece on this course of the relationship of the Muslims and the Jews in Morocco because they have very much the same experience and they have the same experience and are very close in Morocco. So we start in Rabat, and actually, when we look at the course over, or when we look at the itinerary overview, I'm sorry, we start in Casablanca, and we really don't spend a lot of time there, but we do go to the Jewish Museum, which is the only Jewish museum in the Arab world because of their close relationship in Morocco. Then we fly to Rabat, where we have our homestay, which is one of my favorite cities in the world. I love Rabat. I love the mixing of cultures. You are staying in a homestay, but we'll also be doing a lot of our intellectual experience in Rabat. We then travel down to Fez, and while we travel down there, we will stop in Volubilis, which happens to be a Roman outpost in Morocco. And when we get to Fez, which is a royal city, and all the royal cities, Meknes, which is another royal city that we'll be visiting, they all have their own colors. And so all the taxi cab drivers are colored a certain way. And they were the royal cities before the French took over, which was in 1913. Rabat was originally the French capital. So then we go into the heart of in Fez, which was the earlier capital. And then we go back to Rabat and we return to Chicago on June 24th. Ah, here is, oh, gorgeous picture. This is a picture of Casablanca. And the Caliph's house, which is what we'll read, is on the end, near the end. So, what we'll be doing, you will have survival Arabic. For those of you who study Arabic, this is Moroccan Arabic. So you'll have a head start because you do have some Arabic, but we just go over that and we have speakers on Moroccan cultural and history, of course, excursions. We'll see pictures of this later on. We'll have a musical performance, a cooking class, and we live with the family. And in Fez, we visit the Medina, and again, we have some speakers. This is where we have the speaker in Fez because it was a royal city and a preserved Medina. This is where we have the UNESCO lecture, a lecture on the history. I don't know if it'll be on. So here it is. Here's CCCL. This is where most of our education portion of the course will be. And this is an old building which has been rehabbed is the word we would use, but it uses all the Moroccan architecture. And that in itself is very interesting because Moroccan homes or riads are, as you see here with the students in the middle, and there's a whole inner courtyard, and the around it is the living spaces. So here you see the classes that we will have and the lectures that we will have. So these are the pictures of that. Here's the cooking class. Um, Lots of good food, lots of cooking and learning about Morocco has a cuisine that is exceptional in the world with its spices. It's known for its cuisine as well. And of course, we have the oud, the musical instruments here. And hopefully, these are some of the classical instruments. Last time I was in Morocco, we also brought together some sort of current music, which they were into hip hop at the time. So we'll get some Moroccan takes on hopefully some of the musical performances. And here are the homestay families. As you see, this is just some students with their homestay families.
And I'll just weigh in on that for a moment. We have very few short-term programs like this that have a homestay experience, and so you are really lucky. I worked for many years and was involved in an international organization and had homestay experiences all around the world. And for me, it was the most amazing way to learn about cultures. And so for people who haven't done that before, you may be a little nervous about staying with a family. The nice thing is it's only for a few nights. It's not the full program, so it gives you a taste of what that experience is like. And it's one of those things that after it's done, you'll go, oh my gosh, what an amazing part of the program that I actually got to spend a few days and get to know a local family. So I'm just so excited that this is a part of this program, and it's rare in these short programs that you get to do this. So
The
really
other
excited.
Oh, sorry. The other aspect of these homestays is that, as I think I told you, I've taken Morocco 6 times, and I have had students, because of their connections with their homestays, I've had students go back and study in Morocco, either when they graduate or mostly when they graduate from DePaul, but they have gone back and they've kept in contact with their homestay families. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful way of learning, having a more intimate relationship, because the fact of the matter is most countries are about the people. And what we hear on the news or whatever we hear oftentimes doesn't even speak to the human connection that we make when we have these homestays. So both Scott and I were adamant to try to include a homestay in this shorter term program. Thanks. Ah, Rabat, Rabat, Rabat. It is a gorgeous city. That's all I can say. We are going to see this is the Burigeg River, and Saleh, which is sort of the artistic, is across on the other side of the river, and that is a very artistic part. This is the cella here on the castle that you're looking at is the cella that overlooks um, some water, and it is a wonderful place that we will go and learn the history of. And then this is an overview of the city. This is their minaret, of course, and we will see all this. It's wonder. I'm excited. I haven't been back in a while, so I'm really excited to reconnect with the people and the place. Oh, down here, what you're looking here in the Medina, sorry, with all those circles and dyes, that's leather dyeing. That's where they dye the leather in the clothing. And
And this
there's
is
the souk there on the left. You're seeing the souk where, oh my gosh, I can show you some of the things I bought in class, but things that you will want to buy gifts in the souk. It's wonderful. And there's a view from the rooftop. They use their rooftops a lot. They have flat roofs. There was all over, actually all over Europe as well. You never really wanted, well, because of the weather, they have the rooftops where they do the laundry and everything. But the truth of the matter is, you never wanted to finish your roof because if you totally finish your house, there are higher taxes. So people often leave, from the Western point of view, it looks like Oh, well, they just are unfinished. But from another point of view, it's, oh, you don't want to pay those high taxes, so you don't quite finish your house. And this is volubilis. They're sitting, the students are sitting on the toilets. Actually, that's the sort of communal, the Romans had communal toilets. So this is where they're sitting there after all these years, hopefully, in an open air. It's they kept things very neat as well, the Romans. So these are all Roman ruins that we will hear about. We will have a guide at Volubilis. I like Volubilis because I like ruins, but I love it. It's in the outdoors. And actually, across from Volubilis is one of the most important Islamic sites that hopefully we will see as well. And now we're back just wandering around the different sites in Meknes, which was a royal city as well. So we have all these royal cities at different historical moments and different times in Moroccan history. So here at the lower picture, the students are getting a lecture on the tiles, on the Moroccan tiles that have significance and meaning. The Arabs, like the Jews actually, do not put letters, language in the same way in their tiles because it's from a religious point of view.
All right. And I'll kind of take over the last couple slides here. So the application deadline is February 1st, which is coming up quickly in a little over a week. I know all of you are in different stages here. Some of you have started applications. Some of you may have submitted it already. Some may not have started the application. So please, if you have not yet, go to the Morocco page, click on the blue Apply Now button, and fill out your application. It's pretty straightforward. There's just 5 or 6 questions that are kind of short answer questions about why you're interested in doing the program. Hit the submit button. And then what's going to happen is you are going to get an email to set up a brief time for a brief group interview. And this is not like a formal put on a tie job interview. It's literally just small groups of students. You're going to have a half an hour to chat with the leaders, to ask questions. They're going to get to learn a little bit about you. But please make sure to be on the lookout for your email. When you get that email to sign up for one of the group interview slots, sign up for one of those slots. And then you'll find out in mid-February if you've gotten a spot or not. And hopefully you do. When that happens, you will also find out within the next day or so if you got scholarship funding, and if so, how much. There is no separate scholarship application. So as long as you apply to the Morocco program by February 1st, you'll automatically be considered for the scholarships. We determine our scholarships based on 2 things. Biggest being your financial need. We work with the financial aid office and look at your FAFSA to understand what your financial situation is. And then we look at your GPA. So students who have high financial need and strong grades are going to be most likely to get scholarship awards and larger ones. The scholarships can range from $1,000 up to almost the full cost of the program. So even if you get our smallest scholarship award, it's $1,000 off the cost of the program right away. And we do have a handful of scholarships that can go up to, again, almost the full cost of the program. When you apply to the program and you get accepted, you are not committed to anything. So if you're not sure, or if you're wondering about the price and not sure if you can afford it, apply to the program, see if you get accepted, see how much scholarship funding you might get. And then once that happens, we give you a week or two to decide what you want to do and decide, hey, do I want to move forward or am I not able to? So you've got time to make a decision once you hear the results of all of that. And this will all be happening in kind of mid to late February. And then if you do decide to move forward, then we'll get you registered in the classwork for spring quarter. Um, so the
I
cost.
also want,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
can I say one last thing?
Yes, please.
I also want to say that the scholarship program is very strong for study abroad. I think if you're worried about it at all, as Scott says, just apply. Just apply. You're not committed by just applying, and hopefully, because they have been very generous with their scholarship program. Sorry, I just wanted to add that, Scott.
Yeah, no, for sure. We do our best to try to help as many people as we can who need the funding. And there's a scholarship appeal process where if you don't get a scholarship or you didn't get enough, then we have a committee that can review an appeal to see if we can increase it. So we will do everything we can to try to support you. The cost of the program is $4,550, and it includes almost everything. So that's the big thing to know is that cost is the cost. So it includes your round trip airfare from Chicago to Morocco. It's all of your accommodations. It's basically all of your meals except a couple dinners, all the activities, excursions, transportation. We enroll you in international travel and health insurance. So really, outside of that, all you have to have money for is just your pocket spending money for the evenings or times where there might be a little free time. And again, all your meals are even included except for a couple of dinners. So it's very comprehensive. And that's kind of how that works. So this is, all of our short programs are a little different in terms of what they include. This is one of the programs where it includes basically everything that you're going to do. And then in terms of questions after this, my email's there. Barbara's email is there. Any questions you have about the logistics or planning or the application process, I can answer. If you've got questions about the course or the time abroad, you can reach out to her. But whatever questions you might have, we're happy to help. And yeah, I'm going to stop the share here. And then any
Wait,
questions that anyone has, this is your time. Unmute yourself, throw something in the chat. What are you curious about that we may not have touched on?
Okay, hello, this is Jordan. I had like one question
Yeah.
regarding the homestay process. So, um, how many, I guess my first question is like how many families are there? Like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're working with an organization there that we've worked with in the past as well, and they host many different international groups coming through. And so they've got a whole network of host families that they draw on whenever different groups and schools are coming through and using host families. So they've got a whole bunch of families that they work with. And when this next group comes, they'll reach out to their network and say,
Mm,
we got this many people coming for these dates, who's available? And then there will be a roommate questionnaire that they have you fill out, or a host family questionnaire so they can put you with a good match if you've got, allergies
okay.
or anything like that. So,
Oh,
or
okay, that makes perfect sense.
if you want to perfect your Arabic, for example,
Uh-huh.
you would might put that on your application for your homestay so that you get a family that you can
Oh,
speak Arabic with or with French. I mean, I don't know as much about the French, but I do know that, obviously they all speak Arabic. So, if my guess is you, but if that is a particular interest of yours, then that might work.
yeah, but there's
oh, okay,
definitely it's a
perfect.
whole network of families that they work with over and over again for different groups coming through.
Okay, perfect. And then my last question was, um, is there a possibility of us being pit with other DePaul students in one household?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that they do. I'm not sure if
Oh,
it's
perfect. Okay.
always
I
yes or always no, but I think it might be a mix.
I think in certainly when I've taken it before, there have been two students per household.
Okay.
Sometimes three, but it all depends on how many. I saw that in the chat that was how many students can we take? Can we take 20? So
Oh, okay.
yeah, and you can be put with somebody else.
And there will be a process as well after you're accepted where you give us some roommate information. And if you have a request, if you have a friend who's on the program and you'd like to
Oh,
room with them, you
okay.
can put a request in and we'll work through all those types of things.
Okay, me and Fern. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Perfect, perfect, perfect.
And yes, and like Amani said, up to 20 students we can take on the program. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Questions.
Any other questions? I do want to say one last thing. As I said, I'm a uh, cheerleader for Morocco, particularly, but I also think that it's a wonderful place to go with school because going on your own, it's hard. It's a culture that is it's a culture that the first time you experience it, it's often wonderful to have a group experience that then you can turn into a personal traveling experience, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then there was
Okay.
one other question in here about vaccine requirements. I just put a link in the chat, and this is information you can look up on your own as well. Through the CDC, there's a website that talks all about vaccination recommendations. There are no specific vaccine requirements to enter into Morocco. So it's really just a matter of looking there and seeing what you have and what you don't and what you might want to do. You can go talk to your doctor or a travel clinic, and there's a whole list we'll give you once you're accepted of travel clinics in the Chicago area that do vaccinations for travel. Talk with your doctor, talk with the travel clinic, see what you've got, see what you don't, see what you might think you need or not. But there's no requirements to enter the country that you need A, B, or C. So, any other questions? Um, how many readings and writing assignments do we need to complete the course? I will let Barbara. I mean, and
Well, I
I'll
mean,
preface it by saying this. It's a full quarter length class. It's a normal quarter class that you'll take in spring quarter, where you'll be doing this is an LSP 112 focal point seminar, and there's 100 of these happening. All your friends are also taking a focal point seminar on all different topics. It just so happens that if you do this one, you get to go to Morocco afterwards. So it's a similar course load to the other courses. But I'll have Barbara kind of address it more similarly, more
yeah,
specifically.
I mean, I think what you'll find is, I mean, I can't give you the exact page number off the top of my head. We do read one book, we read two books, both of which are quick reading. The the materials are thought-provoking materials, not content. Like, I'm not, this isn't a memorization course. This is a course where you're going to be able to enjoy enjoy the readings and think about how they relate to you. In terms of the writings, you will do, the standard amount of writing on the course itself. You will on the class itself, you have two papers and a travel piece. You have two travel pieces, one of your experiences now, and you will write your own travel piece on return in the 2 credit course. Okay, in terms of what was your second part? You want to know how many readings and how many papers. On site, you will keep a journal, which hopefully will lead into the 2 credit travel piece that you write.
So you will basically be taking the class in spring quarter before you even step on a plane to go to Morocco. That spring quarter class will be done and you'll have a grade
Yeah,
just like, again, all your other friends taking a focal point seminar. And then while you're in Morocco, you're going to have this journaling and kind of a final project that you'll turn in after the trip. And that's when you get your grade for that additional 2 credits. Any
I
other
saw
questions?
another question.
We go to the CCCL Center for some lessons while you're there. And which city is that in?
Oh, that's in Rabat.
No. And there
That's
are
right
partners
away.
there. Yeah. And there are
That's right
partners
away.
there
That's
that
where
are
we do the homestay, the whole thing.
And there are partners who basically are helping us coordinate and plan everything. And Barbara has worked with them in the past on her former Morocco program. And this is what they do. They help coordinate cultural exchanges like this for people coming there. And we're working closely with them to put together the whole itinerary. And they're finding the speakers and the tours and planning all the activities for us. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, like I said, the deadline is a little over a week away. If you haven't submitted your application, please do. And please, talk it up to your friends. Let other people know. We want to make sure we have enough students for the program to run. So please help get the word out there to other people. It's going to be an amazing experience. And if anyone has questions, again, feel free to reach out to us. So thank you so much for being here. And we'll look forward to being in touch more soon, hopefully.
Yeah. No other questions. Okay. Well, you have my email if you have any. I'm accessible. I'm teaching this quarter.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay warm.
Thank
Oh,
you so much.
Yes,
thank
thank
you. Hope to
you.
see you again.
All
Thank
right.
you so
Yes.
much.
All
Yep.
right.
Stay warm.
Yep. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.